Hi everyone, it's Miss M. Welcome to week 6 in your online section of College Success. I hope that things are going really great for you and that you're having a good experience in the class. This week's topics are motivation, goals, and locus of control. Locus of control is my favorite thing to talk about, so I'm going to save that video for last. I thought I would start today with a quick discussion about motivation and just share with you a couple points that I think are important. Your textbook talks about how motivation comes from your values, which formulates your belief system, and then translates into motivation. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. Your values are the things that are the most important things to you. Things like family, things like love, joy, happiness, wealth, success. For some people, it's religious beliefs. It can be integrity, authenticity, truth, kindness, stuff like that. Those are the things that are your values. And your values come together, and everybody's are different, to make a unique package that creates a belief system for you. So let's say, for example, that one of your values is wealth. If you value wealth, which is kind of an inner core part of you, then your belief system is going to result in some behaviors that you have around wealth. So if you value wealth, maybe your belief system is that I value wealth, there's enough money out there for me to make what I need to make, there's enough abundance for me to feel like I'm living a truly prosperous and abundant life. And that moves into behaviors where you behave like someone who comes from a place of abundance. So your language has to do with how there's always enough, and your language is full of gratitude, and you're someone who talks about giving to others because you're so fortunate to have what you have in your life. So see how those kind of build on each other? We have the value of wealth, the belief system that there's enough for everyone, and then the behavior where you behave in such a way where you have what you need and you share with others. It could also go another way. Your value could be wealth, but your belief system could be scarcity or lack, or there's not enough, and I've got to keep what I've got, and I've got to scrounge to get, and I'm always going to have to work hard. And that belief system translates into behaviors where you might not be quite as happy because you're someone who worries about money and who is concerned that your money is going to disappear and things like that. So that's kind of a cool thing to think about. But when we get to that behavior part where we're focusing on the behaviors that come from the beliefs, that come from the values, that's where we get into motivation. So motivation is what drives you. Why do you do the things you do? You do the things you do because you have a belief system that's based on your values. And you also do the things you do because you have goals that might not be important to you. Usually your goals are somehow easily relatable to your beliefs and values. But let's back up and talk more about motivation. Motivation is what drives you. Motivation is what made you log on to the computer today and check out what's going on in your online class. Motivation might be what's making you, I don't know, log into your class on Sunday right before your homework's due when you've had plenty of time all week and you haven't done it. So motivation works both ways. We are motivated to get things done, and we can also be motivated to not get things done. There are some days that the couch and a bowl of ice cream and a good tearjerker movie just sound like the way to go. So anyhow, there's two different types of motivation. The first one is intrinsic. These are funny words to say. Intrinsic motivation is when you're motivated by something that starts within. So this is when I'm motivated because I just want to do something for myself. I want the experience. I want the sense of joy. I want to be able to say that I did it. I want to accomplish something. I want the college degree. I'm driven to go to school because I want to earn it. The degree itself would be what's called an extrinsic motivator. But the process of going to college and sticking with the program, so to speak, is your intrinsic motivation. That's where you're looking at the everyday things that you know that you need to do to be a good student, and you're motivated just because it's important to you. Now, if you're going to college because there's someone in your life that's made you feel like you have to go to college, and sometimes that happens, especially with what's known as a traditional college student or a college student who was a high school student a year or two ago. So oftentimes we see college freshmen come to TCC who kind of have an idea that college is important, but they haven't had any real world experience to kind of glaringly show them in the face, you know, you have to go to college. And the truth is there is no have to. But for some, you know, college isn't for everyone. So for some students, that motivation to go is actually coming from someone else. It's that extrinsic motivator where a parent or someone is pushing you to do it and you might not really be sure why, and you don't get excited about going to class and you don't get excited about learning, and that can be a really hard place to be, where you kind of have to force yourself to do what it takes to be a successful student. So there's some argument that it's really nice to find an intrinsic motivator that you can connect with in order to keep you moving forward. So something that you can do as a reminder. So one of the ways that I balance my ideas of motivation are, and I've got a sample of one right here, I keep little books like this, little blank books. I have one that's a day planner. I have lots of journals. I'm a big journal writer. This is the one that I keep for work. So this is my TCC log. And I write quirky little things in it. Some of them are task-oriented, like September 23rd, reschedule observation for my mentee. But then other things that I'll put in here are things like something nice that a student said or something that I learned in a lesson. So like right here, I made a note that, you know, got a note from Jake today. He's doing well, moving forward with his history progress. I had this student named Jake who took 2 of my classes and was really struggling with history. So it's nice to, those are the things that I do that are kind of, it's creating an extrinsic motivator for me to keep on doing what I do as a teacher. Believe it or not, sometimes being a teacher can be a hard job. So intrinsic motivators come from within. Extrinsic motivators are things that exist outside of you. Another great example of an extrinsic motivator is the crappy jobs that we sometimes take when we're college students because we just need to get by. Money is nice. Money does things like afford you to go to Publix. Money pays for a roof over your head. Money can make sure that your air conditioning stays on when it's really hot outside. And we need it. And sometimes the only way that it fits into our schedule is to wait tables, to deliver pizzas, to flip burgers. And those jobs are jobs that are well worth having. When older people say things like, those jobs build character, it's totally true. I am now on the bandwagon. Those jobs build character. So if you're in a situation where you have that kind of job, where there's not a lot of internal motivation to go to work, there's definitely some extrinsic motivation going on. So hopefully this has been pretty clear and you understand the difference. I'm going to move on now and do a little video about goal setting. See you there.